So hello everyone and welcome to Quick Start Brainstorming with me, Dalia. I'm delighted to have you here, and today we're going to explore how to use Sudowrite to brainstorm effectively and come up with a concept for a romantic comedy novel. This course is aimed at people who are completely new at Sudowrite or have come back after a while or just want to learn a bit more about brainstorming. And that's the reason we will proceed at a leisurely pace. The goal is that by the end of this session, you'll have good understanding of how to use Sudowrite's features to inspire your creativity and develop new ideas. Today, after this introduction and greeting, I will show you how to use the Brainstorm button and how to use QuickChat, First Draft, and Canvas to flesh out your ideas. I have prepared a document for today's session with some brainstorming prompts. It will be posting the link in the chat shortly. Like once I've figured out on which of my screens the chat is currently. There it is. And we'll also end this session with a Q&A. Before we dive in, a few words about the Zoom decorum for today. Please keep your microphone muted unless your name is called upon to minimize background noises. And please use the raise your hand feature if you'd like to contribute or ask a question. You can find this feature under, now it's not shown in my Zoom thing, but I think it's reactions or something. And there you can click on this and have raise your hand. Feel also free to use the chat box to ask questions or make comments throughout the session. My lovely co-host Tomas will be keeping an eye on the chat for me today so that I can address your questions in time. Now let's move over to Sudowrite. There we go. We're working in a new project. My computer is a bit, either my computer is slow or it's just not reacting properly. That's weird. It seems to be a bit weird today. Okay, but now we have our project, and before we dive in, and I just see Minor has arrived, my second lovely co-host for today. I'm just making you a co-host because you're here.
Thank you, Dalia. Sorry about that. I was on another call.
Don't worry. I'm in the privileged position to have two lovely co-hosts with me today. And that's worth any delay. But back to our presentation. And before we start with brainstorming, I just want to give you some general advice for brainstorming with AI. And one key for me is always to be specific with the AI. Since AI knows tons of things and has a broad overview of topics, usually if you ask it the broad question, you will get a broad answer that is not very specific and not very unique. So the more specific you are with your prompt, the better the AI will be able to tailor its response to what you actually want to hear. For example, instead of just saying, give me a story idea, you could say something like, give me a story idea for a romantic comedy that takes place in a big city and involves the grumpy bookshop owner. This will help the AI to understand what kind of mood and elements you are looking for. And something else that's very helpful with brainstorming in general is to iterate and refine. And don't expect perfection on your first try. As I just said, the AI will come up with the most common ideas first, and the more you go back and forth with it and refine what you actually want, the better the results will be. AI is great at giving a starting point, but it really shines when you build on its ideas. But now let's dive into our first little brainstorming tool. And there are several ways you can use Sudowrite for brainstorming, and I'm sure I won't be able to cover all of them today. But the most obvious, if you look at the toolbar, is the Brainstorm button. If you click on it, it brings you to this screen where you can define what exactly you're wanting to brainstorm. And this feature is very good to help you quickly generate ideas for, as you can see, almost anything. Since even if you don't find what you want here, you can just go with something else and get this little mask to enter stuff. And that works the same for all the different things you could generate with this. For today's class, we would go with give me a list of high concept pitches for romantic comedies. This way the AI just knows what you want in general. Then you can give it a bit further context. Like in this case, the setting and what kind of character we want to have. And you can also give it an example of what kind of pitch you are looking for. And to not spend too much time typing, I'm just copy pasting an example I came up with before, or chat came up with this. Okay. Like this example is like Booked for Love is a romantic comedy where grumpy New York bookshop owner Max clashes with quirky, tech-savvy literary agent Sophie, who opens an ebook cafe next door. And I just noticed it's long for the example box, so I just cut this part out because that's already a good starting point. But now I know I have to add to my note that there's a word limit. But anyway, now we have like this little example, our context, this, and then we can just go with start and see the magic. And with these example pitches that we got here, as you can see here, this little pro tip, you can thumbs up or thumbs down the pitches to tell the AI of what kind of things you want more and what you want less of. But let's look what we have. Love Between the Pages is a heartwarming rom-com about a stubborn bookstore owner who despises modern technology and a tech-savvy CEO who opens an e-book store across the street. That's interesting, but I think it's too similar to the one we already have. So I would just say bye-bye. And then it breaks and is gone. But it's Love Between the Pages follows the unlikely love story between bookstore owner Farah, who only reads classic literature, and her charming modern-day cowboy neighbor brings a fresh perspective to her world. That's interesting. Or the misadventures of a grumpy romantic. It's a grumpy book lover who accidentally falls for. I like misadventures of a grumpy romantic. That sounds kind of cute. And then if you like it, it ends up over here. Love in the Stacks follows the unlikely love story of Iterative bookstore owner Lucy and loud adventurous travel writer Josh as they navigate the ups and downs of life and love in bustling Chicago. Is there something set in New York, maybe? But I mean, I like the idea, but I would like to have it set in New York so I can just go in and edit this. Ta-da. You can easily click in this. If you decide that one of those isn't a keeper after all, you can also delete it. Ah, lovers of the word. I also like this idea. Do you also have any favorites that you would like to keep?
I think Thomas was talking about the stack of love.
Oh, Stacks of Love. I can't find this in here,
Up
but
one,
it's
love in stack, I guess.
7 stacks.
And there's romance in the stack too. So which one, Thomas?
Where's up that books? Oh no.
No, it was just a suggestion for a title.
Yeah. A good suggestion. We could just take the title and some of the other.
Some of the one who's talking about stacks.
Yeah, stacks. Love and stacks. Ah,
I didn't know that Thomas was a romantic.
yes. Ah, very sweet. But since no one has a favorite, I think I would take the above top one, this, and would rename it Stacks of Love. Cynical bookstore owner Alex and optimistic writer Mia, the team up to save their favorite independent bookstore. That gives, oh God, now I don't know how the movie is called in English. The old movie with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, which also like corporate bookstore email for you or something like that. You've got mail, I think. I just dated myself as being a 90s kid. But let's go with this. And if we found some we want to keep, we can just go and save and exit. And they'll show up here on this little history panel. And we can either just insert all of those results in here. Yeah. Oh, Stacks of Love and Literary Dreams. That's also nice. Okay. And now that we have some broad ideas, we could sorry, I have a bit of a
take some water.
Yeah, I just have something in mind. I will just mute myself for a moment so that I can cough without giving you.
Go ahead. In the meantime, we also have a question. Kenneth put his hand up.
So, Kenneth, what's your question?
So my question is, so like if you have like a detailed synopsis that's like really detailed out with like characters, scenes, environments, like the whole shebang, and then will this give you like a pretty good outline if you are kind of like stuck on like how you want the chapters to go and stuff like that, if you have a very detailed synopsis that's like to the point of like characters' names, backgrounds, like everything?
Well, that's not really in the scope of the class today, since here it's more about brainstorming initial ideas, but you could use the next tool we wanted to look at is QuickChat. And with QuickChat, you can
so that
access
wouldn't
this
really
with
work in like the brainstorming idea part of it to add on to more ideas, the idea you already have?
the problem with the brainstorm button is that it doesn't look at the ideas that are already there. And it's
okay.
very limited in its in the things that you can put into this. So what works better for this would be the QuickChat feature. Since QuickChat is like having a direct conversation with Sudowrite about your project. And if all your information is in documents inside your project, QuickChat can access this, which makes it a really great tool for brainstorming, both at the start of a project and also when you have already a very developed project. Since QuickChat looks at, I think, I'm not sure if it looks at, it doesn't look at brain dump, but it looks at synopsis, characters, world building and outline. And I think genre. I'm not sure if it looks at style right now, but it looks at everything in the story Bible and it looks at every document in your story Bible and answers questions based on the information that it can access. And if you want to focus on something, you can highlight the section, and then it's a bit sad that you don't directly see that you have quick chat available, but quick chat is hiding behind quick edit. And you can just go over here and ask your questions.
Okay, so brain dump is basically before you get to the story Bible phase.
Yes, basically a lot of the brainstorming, at least the stuff that I do today, is more to create basically the seed that you would put into brain dump, like in here, and build upon this your synopsis and characters, world building, outline, and all of this. But as I said, this quick chat brainstorming tool can also be used in later stages of your development. Whenever you're stuck on something, you can go in there and ask it questions. Okay, and I see that Robert has also raised his hand.
Sorry, I was just struggling to unmute there. I couldn't figure it out.
No problem.
I guess my question is perhaps twofold. So taking this as an example, let's say Alex is the grumpy bookstore owner.
Mhm.
Can I brainstorm just using characters? So for example, if I say Alex is the grumpy bookstore owner and John and Jane are his part-time store clerks, can I put in, you know, down here with the story Bible, you got the characters, you got the personality, and you got all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Can I sort of write out characters and say, we've got Alex, he's the grumpy bookstore owner, and Jane is a really effervescent, bubbly 20-year-old young lady who started working there, and then John is the misanthrope, you know, older guy who also works there part-time, and sort of write out the characters and then have the Sudowrite brainstorm stories around, you know, adventures that these characters could get into, for example.
Yeah, that's something you could do. You could either like put if you have information about the characters that you can put into like character cards, you could fill this out already. Oh, my card is a bit long, but you could fill in everything you have about the character, then use this feature like this, fill this in to fill in the gaps, and just give all the information.
Sorry, I cut you off there. Sorry, please continue.
And sadly, right now, how Sudowrite works is that it works with the generations linearly from brain dump down to synopsis and then to characters. So synopsis wouldn't look at the characters that you've already filled out, but you could put the information about the characters as long as it's below 2,000 words into the brain dump, give it a genre and maybe a seed of an idea of what you could think about, what the characters could be doing as a story, and then let it generate a synopsis and see what it comes up with. That's also a good way. There are also, I think, probably plugins that would help with creating it in this, like, well, backwards manner sounds so negative, but like in the opposite direction.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
I hope that helped.
Yeah. So I wondered if I put in the characters and let's say, you know, if I put in for chapter 1, you know, the bookstore gang goes to feed the ducks at Central Park or something. If, I mean, then Sudowrite would sort of build that chapter based on what I've put in the character cards. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it does still kind of brainstorm it in a way.
Yeah, it still brainstorms with everything you give it. Right. So basically, you could also brainstorm by filling this out and then go to outline.
Yeah.
Give it the little prompt and then have it generate beats based on this.
Yeah.
And
okay. Yeah.
then it will come up with something.
So then, so that's how I would get it to sort of brainstorm an adventure with those characters around a certain theme. Like I said, feeding ducks, and then it generate beats, and then it would sort of give me a bunch of beats about this is what they do when they go and feed the ducks. Okay. So just one last technical question was, again, the groups. So we've got Alex, the grumpy bookstore owner, and then Mia, the tech savvy lady across the road. So if we go to the character cards, if I put in groups, so I've got Alex and John and Jane, and they all work at Mr. Grump's bookstore, and I put in groups. If I put Mr. Grump's bookstore there, and then I put in Mia, she works at the tech savvy bookstore, does that tell the AI that they're, you know, they're all sort of, they all work together Alex, John, and Jane, they're all in this group.
Yeah, it would.
That's how.
It would help the AI to group them together, but we're moving a bit away from our topic today. So,
yes, sorry. Yeah. But thank you. That's answered my question about brainstorming beats. Okay. So thank you.
You're welcome. But let's see where we left off. Was here with our little pitches that we came up with. And I decided we would go for the first one, Stacks of Love. And one thing I like to do is just use our QuickChat to talk about the idea with Sudowrite. And there's just one thing you need to know about QuickChat before you dive into chatting with it. QuickChat is currently, well, it doesn't have a conversation history, so you have to make sure that you always copy and paste everything out of it. Since if you go and close it, it's just gone. Some people had to learn this the hard way, but otherwise, this is a really great feature to correspond with your story and to come up with ideas. And you can access this either this way or with the shortcut Command K or Control K, depending whether you're on a Mac or a Windows computer. So I like to start out my brainstorming with questions about the bigger picture. In this case, I would, for example, ask it, and I have to mix this, look at the keys while I'm typing, mix this story unique. This is something that helps me come up with some ideas that are not as typical, and to build upon this. And something that also often helps is to ask it to be more specific and detailed. That's it. Okay. And starting out like this, you can go on asking it other questions, like hopes and themes. I was hoping it could come up with Grumpy Sunshine by itself, but I will just have to tell it that it's Grumpy Sunshine. And in the document, I've given you a lot of questions that you can work with. And basically the now I've lost my train of thoughts. But anyway, you can just see this as a conversation, as if you were talking with a human writer about stories, except that the AI she's like a lot broader knowledge about different kind of fiction than any human you could discuss this with, which is quite helpful for me, since I get ideas from like different backgrounds that I would usually have if I would only be in like my bubble with all the people that have the same interests that I have. It's like a good like outside push with other helpful ideas. I hope you understand what I'm getting at. But looking at our story now, do you have anything you would like to try out asking the AI with QuickChat?
No, I would just remind people that it does not save automatically.
Yeah, it's so sad. And it's also a bit sad that we don't have like at least a copy button, since now I will have to go like this and hope that I got everything. And then yes, that looked good that I got it. So, and I just saw, Robert, you raised your hand with the question.
Yeah, it was on the point of the save. It doesn't automatically save. Well, I have two questions. So where's the save button? And also, if I click on for it to generate some ideas, like here, and then I click on it again to regenerate the ideas, can I go back to the ones that it's generated or no?
Like in this QuickChat window that we're currently in, there is no save button. The only thing that you can do is highlight it with your
and then copy paste it to
copy paste
Word or
it.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the moment you close this and reopen the window, also the conversation you had before is not available anymore. So it's just
okay. That's
gone. With other features,
it is to copy paste, put it somewhere else because I can't go back to it. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's the only thing currently, sadly, for QuickChat. For other features, if you generate something, you usually have this little history button where the older versions are saved. Yeah, here you can see, like, since we haven't put anything in brain dump history, there's nothing in there, but you would generally have dated versions of the stuff you generated, or in this case, put into the window. Any further questions about QuickChat?
Chat's clear right now.
Awesome. Okay, then we're good in the timing right now, so let's move on to another tool that I like to use for brainstorming, and that is First Draft. The thing with First Draft is you only can access it when you're in an empty document. You find it under the plugins menu here in the lower half. I think if you don't have any plugins, it's actually the first one. But if you have many plugins, you have to scroll a bit to find it. And save a First Draft is usually more used for writing fiction, but you can also use it for brainstorming. If you think of, give it a command like avoid writing prose. That doesn't work all the time. But at least I'd say 75% of the time it won't give you a short story if you tell it that it shouldn't be writing prose. And this here is also very nice, giving it some feedback, how much information like is the right amount for First Draft to work on. This is a bit like, I have no idea what it would come up with if I just tell it to not write prose. Actually, let's just see what it would be doing if I just tell it that few things. Yeah, now it's just getting meta, writing about writing prose. That's interesting.
Interesting one to read. Send me that when you have a chance.
Yeah, I'm really interested in what this will come up with because it sounds like a interesting literary.
About the Mockingjay, Sylvia
Yeah.
Plath.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad. It's like a little article.
Yep.
Like this is like the giving us like little, what's it called? Articles like this is one of the strong suits of First Draft. Like it's good to use also if you want to write like blog articles on some topic.
Or a very short story.
Yeah, or short stories. But I wanted to show you one of the prompts I like to use. Now I just have to find it. Where is it? This one. Which is roughly, you have a rough concept for a story and want to develop the setting, plot, and characters and tone, and then some information about what I mean when I say setting, plot, characters, and tone. And now I just have to hop over and grab our little, our pitch. That was the word I was looking for. Sadly, it just closed the window. Then I'd have to do it this way. So let's see. See, the perfect amount of detail. There's even a little guide with more tips. Now let's see what it will come up with. It will lucky and actually gives us what I'm asking for. But even if it, yeah, it's a bit fickle. This is just it writing as a short story. You can stop it from writing if you refresh. But I actually also like it when it gives me short stories on my concepts, since when I read them, it also gives me some ideas on how I could work with, like with the story and how I could develop it more. And one thing I like about First Draft compared to using just QuickChat is that if it gives you a helpful answer, they're usually longer and more detailed than what QuickChat would give you. And I just will try this one more time, and then I'll just call it quits. Maybe it helps to tell it this a bit more often.
Where is it that you tell him what to do? Write an essay, write a short story, what you want it to do?
Is
it working the way you want now?
Nah, it's still not working the way.
Because I didn't see the command of write what you want him to write.
I have this I have a rough concept for a story, and I wanted to develop the setting, plot, characters, and tone.
So
and that worked
write.
before,
Mhm.
and now it apparently isn't working anymore. That's also one funny thing you have with AI, that sometimes a prompt that has been working for months stopped working. And you'd have to come up with something else.
Very good story.
Yeah.
But it's not the concept you wanted.
Nah. Yeah. But in Germany, we would call this Vorführ-effect, which is like demonstration effect, that stuff doesn't work if you want to demonstrate it to others.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's always works perfectly when you're preparing everything, and then first run just doesn't do what it wants to do.
Mm. First draft is good. It's on that one. You really have to write a story, write an essay, or write an outline. You have to be more precise with it. If not, he's doing whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And
I'll test this out until next month, and maybe it will be booted from brainstorming so that we can spend some time on some other feature. But anyway, First Draft may have betrayed us today, but there's one last feature I always like to use for brainstorming, and that's Canvas. And let's see. Canvas is a bit more of a visual tool for brainstorming and working on stories. And you can use this with like little cards and use it to generate an outline, for example. It used to be the case that you would get some like a little tutorial when you opened it, but that has been very volatile lately. But I hope that just seeing this will help you a bit. And there's also a great class by one of our teachers that you likely know because Nicole does a lot of stuff. And she did a class on Canvas that I will put the link in the chat so that you can see some more ways to use Canvas. Okay. But I usually like to use it for generating first rough outline. And you can use 4 different structures: Hero's Journey, Hollywood Beats, Story Circle, and Romance Outline. And for each of the structures to get a little pitch what it's good for and some examples so that you can judge which of the structures would work best for your story. Since we're writing a romance, I would go for the romance outline. And then we can put our, that was not clever. Where is my pitch? There it is. So, and this tool will generate you a full outline. And I think it's just the visual presentation. Like you see rising action. Just try again. I hope there's not some bigger issue going on that's preventing my stuff from working. But anyway, yeah, here we are. You get this overview and the way it is presented visually gives you like rising action and all that. It kind of visually represents how the stories develop them, which always, like, I like this visual aspect. The only not so good part about Canvas is that it's currently not connected to the Story Bible.
And people can brainstorm too with image directly from any of those.
Yeah, that's also some good thing. You can hear the option to visualize to get an image. And if you do not like what you have on these cards, you can generate options. Okay, looks a bit too old for the classical romance thriller, but maybe depending on the niche, you would still fit. Or
just shave him off and he's going to look younger.
Yeah, that was my thought. It's often the beard that makes a guy look older. So once it's gone, he will probably look like he's 25. But anyway. You also have the option to generate variations for the cards. And you can grab, if you find the right spot to grab this thing, my mouse is not really working with me today, you can grab this and drop it somewhat into this.
Right in the middle.
Right.
It's supposed to you have to go slow. You see the little card on the background to make little
Yeah.
dots.
Ah,
There you go.
Oh, it worked. It worked. Ah,
You can take off this one
there's
out.
a little, yep. And now we have this one out.
Be patient with
Yeah. Like, I don't know why, but my mouse is lagging today too, so it's a bit hard to grab and move this around. But that way you can generate more ideas and replace ideas in here, which is a good way also to brainstorm things. Now I just accidentally clicked on something. I think I may have clicked on this one so that it would click, generate ideas based on this idea. So that's also a way you can build upon idea and idea and idea.
Do you want to show them how to copy their outline and bring it inside Sudowrite?
Yep. You're taking the thoughts from my brain. Like you can go and copy it here with this little 3 dots. And the home button sadly went missing, so that you have to go like this. And then you can copy it in here and have your Stacks of Love 12 chapter story. Okay. Now I think I've shown you the most of the things that I wanted to show you. Let's see if anything is missing, but I think we covered everything. Sadly, first draft didn't work the way it was supposed to work. Anyway, we still have a few minutes left, so feel free to ask any questions you have about what we've covered today, be it Sudowrite, brainstorming techniques, or any questions about the tools that we used. No questions?
Chat is clear too.
Chat is clear.
I haven't found any refund for Thomas.
Oh, a refund?
Yeah,
What's the problem?
He wants a refund on the guy visualize.
Yeah, that's true. But at least it's like an old, nice bookstore in the background. We just want to refund the foreground of the picture.
Can you create another image? What kind of image do you like to have stored?
Yeah. Like you could also do this here. Maybe this visualize will be kinder to the eye.
Yeah, in any of the character that you want to generate, you can add details. Okay, it looks young.
Let's see. Does he look younger? Not
No.
really. But I like the bookstore.
Yeah, nice bookstore. Apparently everybody go in the bookstore, they're supposed to be old.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the details, when she highlights something, she just put the details, more details of what she
Yeah.
wants the gender to look like, and visualize supposed to work, because it's basically, it's Dali in the background.
Yeah. Any more questions? About any of this?
There was a question about costs.
Ah, yes, costs. Let's take a look. Brainstorm is usually like, Brainstorm is already gone. I just said. But Brainstorm is usually like 300, 350 credits per card, per prompt that it generates. And first draft varies a lot depending on how long the output is. And as you can see here, QuickChat is free in the basic version. You can also toggle it to a higher quality version for, well, higher quality outputs.
Mhm.
Although I would say that the stuff you get with the free version is already really good. Right
Yeah,
now, I'm
in
not
my-
sure which model is behind it, except that it's, I think, oh, yeah.
I was gonna say in the higher quality one, in my experience, it's just different. I don't think it's higher
Yeah.
quality at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
just,
free is 3.5 and the paid version is 4.0.
yeah, I thought they had retired 3.5 at some point, but I'm not sure.
They basically use ChatGPT, but the
Yeah.
3.5, which is not retired, is the free version that most people can
Mhm.
get using OpenAI.
Yeah. But QuickChat has the added bonus compared to the normal ChatGPT that it, for one, can see your story Bible, and it also is less censored. So if you write spicy romance or stuff with violence, you won't get flagged if you use QuickChat for this, while you'll likely get into you'll get this little warnings in ChatGPT if it thinks that you want to write about sex and violence, because that's against their terms of service. But with QuickChat, you can literally ask it anything, and it will work for you. But then we also had used the Canvas outline. And the outline itself is with 700 credits quite cheap. If you generate cards, they're also not very expensive. Okay. Are there any more questions?
No, everything looks clear right now.
Okay, awesome, because we're on the hour and I don't want to steal away from your, I mean, depending on where in the world you are, it's your morning or lunchtime or evening. So I just want to end this session with a huge thank you. First of all, to my amazing co-hosts, Manor and Thomas, for their support today. You helped made everything run so smoothly, and I couldn't have done this without you. So thank you a lot. You're the best. And of course, thank you all for your participation in the class and for bringing your curiosity and energy to this workshop. And if you have a moment, please leave a rating and a review. Your input really helps us to shape the classes and to improve them. And I can't wait to see you in one of my upcoming classes and wish you a very, very lovely day and happy writing. So, bye-bye.